guess so, since I'm a citizen of a European country, and thereby I identify legally as European. From my origin, my parents and my ancestors are also European, so in that sense, I guess I also identify as European. I think from where I grew up, not in Europe, but in South Africa, I always identified with Europe and regarded myself as belonging to Europe. But I think since living in Europe, I have learned that Europe is another dimension. It's another, shall I say, place in thinking and in acting. My formative European moment was certainly when I moved to study in Europe in 1979 and realized that Europe is not only another place geographically, but also culturally. I think the rise of the nationalist right movements in Poland and in some of the other, shall I say, countries that belong to the Warsaw Agreement. I think it is a reintroduction of nationalism in Europe, whereas Europe as an idea is to transcend nationalism. And that what we have in Poland and Hungary at the moment is a return to the old idea of nationalistic states. Well, the best is a little bit hard, but definitely one of the best was that when the electorate in the Netherlands and in France and even in Austria rejected the bid of the right wing to become the majority and voted for a more traditional conservative government, but not for right-wing parties. For me personally, the European Union brought together different cultures within Europe and made it easy to move from the one part of Europe to the other part. I remember how complicated it was before we have Schengen, before we have one currency, and we had to have visas to move from one part of Europe to the other one. So I think the ability to move around in Europe and to get the different cultures together and to get to know them and have students from all over in Europe, one of the most important things for me personally. I think that Europe should move progressively away from the national state idea. And one should have two alliances within Europe. A local one, in my case, living in Berlin, being a Berliner, and being a European citizen. So I would like to see the local participation in the European system, but apart from that, a general European system where the national states are not that important anymore.